Okay guys, we're back this week, and I hope you guys were able to use some of the stuff that we went over last week. I was talking to some of the students just now, and we were kind of going over some of the things that they had problems with, and one of the students had mentioned that she tried to do something. She got into the lesson, and then wanted to go into something to do with Eclipse, and try to come in here. Well, if you notice, it says tutorial up here, okay? So if you're not able to do something that you're usually able to do in Eclipse, or if you can't get some of the files that you know that you have on Eclipse, what you have to do is come out and get completely out, then go back into Eclipse again. Okay, because what it does is it kind of resets itself, is what it does. Okay, so if you're not able to find something, able to do something, get completely out, get back in, and try it again. Okay. What was some of the other questions?
Well, mine was concerning because I couldn't find my notes, like my file notes.
Yeah.
So told me to get in and then open it, and then they were all there.
Yeah. Okay. And that was pretty much it, guys. Okay. So what we're gonna do is go into lesson player again, go into hyper keys. Okay. How do you enlarge? Let me pull out my trusty notes.
Shift Control F and F7.
Shift Control F7.
Shift Control F8.
And
zoom out.
and Shift Control F8 zooms out. And to print from Eclipse, Alto. I think that's pretty much it. We went over the toggles and stuff like that. So viewing the toggles and the getting your little icons is what we did last week. Okay. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to go over hyperkeys. Okay. And I kind of went over it the end of the class last week, and I'm going to start over again, and we're going to go through it again this week because there's some pretty important stuff in here, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is hyperkeys, okay? What are hyperkeys? They're the most frequently used editing commands that have been assigned to letters of the computer keyboard without requiring the use of the Control key or the Alt key. Okay, so what Eclipse wants you to do is they want your hands on the home keys. Y'all know what the home keys are, right? The home keys of the keyboard, okay? And you think that hyperkeys are not useful with AutoMagic, but that is not true. It totally is not. In fact, AutoMagic tries to point out hyperkeys wherever they exist for a couple of reasons. First, the editing choice you need will sometimes not have made it onto the AutoMagic list. Second, you can often use a hyperkey command faster than you can detect that AutoMagic has offered a duplicate command on its list of choices. Okay?
Here's an overview of how AutoMagic works. AutoMagic makes using Eclipse as easy as 1, 2, 3. When you turn on Eclipse, press 1 to reopen the last job you were editing.
And that's what they're talking about here, and I think I touched on it a little bit last week. Like, say you're doing a job and it's like, God, I'm tired. I mean, you can only look at that screen so long, okay? And it's like, you know what? I need to make dinner for the kids, or I'm hungry, I'm gonna go make dinner for myself and take a shower, kind of get refreshed, then come back, get ready to edit again. You don't have to go into all of the preparation of getting in, like the Alt-E, scroll down, find the thing, blah, blah, blah. The last thing that you were working on is usually the number 1, okay? So say the job was Krzyzewski, Mike Krzyzewski job, okay? You closed it, you know, you just closed your job, blah, blah, blah. There it is right there, number 1. You push number 1, it takes you back to the spot where you finished, you're ready to go, okay?
Each time you move your cursor, you'll probably find the choice you need is at the top of the list from 1 to 10. AutoMagic is also a great teacher. Wherever there's a menu item, you'll see the icon displayed.
And that's what they're talking about right there. So you're gonna have the icon, so if you're that person that needs all of the icons and you got 68 icons up here because that's you, do what you want, okay? I'm telling you guys, keep it simple. Right here, keep it simple. This is what you should use right here, okay? So first one pretty much has, you know, what you need on it. If it doesn't have it, then you can customize it. You can go into the Windows, customize, you know, toggles or icons or whatever, so you can kind of customize it to whatever you want. So what it does is it tells you when you have your cursor somewhere, like say you have it right here on sheet, it's going to ask you. It's already thinking ahead. So it's already thinking that you may want to be doing something different when this is where you may want to be. You know what, this is correct, but it's going to give you different choices as to, hey, did you mean to do this or this or this? And blah, blah, blah. So it's always thinking ahead and always thinking for you. So these are the icons, and then these are the speed keys right here. So if you want to do, like, say it was supposed to be, is she still working there? Okay, well, it gives you that option right here. So you can press number 5, because that's option 5, and then it'll switch it for you. Or, rather than looking over here, looking at number 5, picking number 5, you can just kind of remember, or try to remember, that it's Shift R. And try it right now. Get somewhere in the document, whatever, and then just do Shift R. Just somewhere in the body. Just somewhere in the body of the context of the lesson plan or whatever, and just do Shift R. You see what it did? All it does is switch the words. So sometimes, you know, like, and I do it too. I mean, I do things to kind of save time. So, and sometimes my hands are faster than what I want them to be, if that makes sense. So sometimes I'm doing is it, and it's supposed to be it is, and it still puts it on the same line. Well, now it gives me 3 different options, okay? Did you want it is? Did you want is it? Or did you want sit? Because it's all on one line. So sometimes I write it correctly and it's sit, or sometimes my hands just don't come all the way up before I'm already pushing the other keys, and it'll put them together. So the more you use the software, the more it becomes accustomed to what you're doing. So now it comes up as a suggestion, okay? But say it comes up like this and it gives you the wrong one right here. It was supposed to be, you know, is she? No big deal. You put your cursor right here, you push Shift R, and it switches them. Put it back on the beginning of the word, do Shift R, and it switches it back. Did it do it? Yes. No. Huh?
My hyper keys are not on. I cannot find my button anywhere but the top.
You know, find what?
My hyper keys aren't on.
How do you put hyperkeys on?
I cannot remember for the life of me.
Alt Z.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So then you said hit Shift R anywhere in the body, right? Or am I not
Yeah,
supposed
get
to?
off of that. You don't want to do like a hyphenated word. Just get on a regular word. On the first, yeah, beginning, do Shift R. See? See how it's supposed to be command faster than? Now do Shift R again. And it puts it back. It just toggles the words. Okay. Got that? Okay. How do you turn hyperkeys on? Alt Z. Alt Z turns hyperkeys on. Okay? And you're gonna know because I'll show you in just a second, because the little prompt that you have is gonna be real skinny if it's not. And that means it's in insert mode. So you can start typing and it's gonna type the letters that you want it to type. When your prompt is fat or thick, that means you're in hyperkeys, okay? And once you start typing letters, now it's doing commands, okay? That's the difference between hyperkeys and insert mode. Hyperkeys is more commands, you know, so you're just following along doing commands. And when you want to insert something, then you push in for insert. We haven't gotten there yet, and we'll get there in a little bit, but, okay?
You'll also see the hyperkeys and speed keys that are editing shortcuts. But if you don't need to see these, you can hide them. Here a Steno Notes file is open. Pressing 7 gives you a translation preview.
And we've kind of gone over this, and it's just kind of giving you a bunch of different things of what you want to do, okay? So these are kind of some of the things that you're able to do, you know, whether you want to do, you know, translation mode, and that's what this is. You know, when you pull your notes up and you want to see, well, I want to see what it's going to translate as, and you know how it came up, then it'll show you, okay? And that's what it's telling you right there.
Not a new feature, but AutoMagic makes it really easy to use. In a new dictionary, just press 1 to build from a word list, or 2 to add entries from your computer keyboard.
We went over that last week too, about the dictionary thing, and if you want to add, delete, edit, modify, you can do all of that stuff just by going into your dictionary. How do you go into your dictionary? Are we going over that?
I click on it.
Yes, you go sit in the back. You can click on the little icon, that's what she said, which is good, or your F9. F9 gets you into your dictionary. So when you're at your gray page, actually you can be anywhere, press F9 and that'll get you into your dictionary. And then that's going to get you into this mode right here. So the AutoMagic turns into things you can do with your dictionary. So if you want to build a dictionary, add a dictionary entry, import a file, read a dictionary, any of that stuff, okay? You in the back.
Can you tell me exactly what you would do here? Why would you use this option right there? If you can do it 2 ways, like what's the purpose of this one?
What's the other option you're going to use?
I thought he said something about just entering it into your dictionary, like when you stroke it out on your machine.
That's not a new feature, but AutoMagic makes it really easy to use. In a new dictionary, just press 1 to build from a word to use. In a new dictionary, just press 1 to build from a word list.
That's building from a word list. It's something, I mean, you're building a dictionary, so you're going to build a word list of things that maybe you're going to use in a certain job.
Oh.
Okay, so you're building this dictionary or whatever. The other way is adding it to your main dictionary.
Oh, the other
So
way.
this is a specialized dictionary,
Okay.
and the other one is just for adding entries.
Or 2 to add entries from your computer.
And when you add entries or whatever, and you want to do Chevrolet, okay? And I want to do it because I'm trying to save time. I want to do it S-H-E-F-R, Chevrolet is the way that I would do it. You can do it however you want, okay? That's the way that I would do it. So I would do it S-H-E-F-R, and then push this thing, which gives you another stroke, and then you come back and do H-R-A-E-O. I mean E-U. Chevrolet. Okay, or you can do Chevrolet. I mean, if you think it's going to conflict with something else, and you can kind of do it a different way or whatever, but I mean, that's how I would do it. And then you press OK, and then it's going to give you an option of the little box. Like when you mark something and it tells you, you know, what do you want it to go in there as? What do you want the English to be? And then you just put in there Chevrolet. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Any questions about this?
You keep seeing that once we keep using it, it'll know what we want to do. Every
Yeah.
time I know you said not to have conflicts, but I have I will or ill. It doesn't let me choose I will, and I've already written that a lot of times and made it I will, and it still gives me ill as my only option to choose. So
The only option?
So I'm manually having to put I will because it doesn't let me just hit a hyper key. It hasn't created one yet, and I've used it a lot of times already.
I think you have to manually put in your conflicts. Like for example, I know that you're not supposed to, but like for there, and there, I created a conflict. So while I'm hitting just THR, it gives me all three at the same time. So then all I do is I go back and I hit 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to manually put that in yourself. Like,
But if you're going in, I think I know what you're saying. What you did was you went in and pushed in and then typed in "I will." Is that what you did, or did you mark it, global it, and then put it in your dictionary as "I will" too, as "ill" and "I will"?
I know it's in my dictionary, but I made that a long time ago.
I-L is "I will."
Yes.
Okay. Or is it L-I? How do y'all write it?
she's saying hers is I will.
See, because mine would be H-R-I. That would be my "I will." See, HR in Stin Ed, when we learned it, was will.
Yeah, oh, so-
Yeah, so I guess y'all's is just L?
well, that's what I made. I made I-L, I will, and it was already ill. But every time I write I will, that's how I would write it, so I just defined it.
So you just did it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you a little bit of advice, okay? One, you want to try to write conflict-free,
Right.
okay? So the one that you're going to hear the most is probably going to be "I will." So you keep it I-L. You're not going to use "ill" that much, but you are going to use it. So what I do, and it's helped me a ton, is I write it the same way, I-L, but I use the asterisk. And just using the asterisk takes it totally away. So now you've fixed that conflict. Huh?
Is that not I''L''?
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you
it
want it
is.
to be?
Because there's I will, I'll, and then ill.
Well, I'll is going to be different because it's going to be long I-L.
I thought long I-L was A-I-S-L-E, like aisles.
A-I.
Well, that's why we're not supposed to write
A-I-S-L-E.
That's why we're not supposed to have conflicts.
Oh, like an aisle, like a store aisle.
Yeah. Because I know I try to be completely conflict-free, but that one, like, there's aisle.
Well, then you can do the same thing. Aisle is going to be the one that you hear all the time. You're not going to hear A-I-S-L-E very often. So I would use it with an asterisk if that's the way you're going to do it. But the way that I learned it in school was it's supposed to be I, come back, A-O-E-L, which A-O-E is the apostrophe L.
Oh.
Apostrophe S is A-O-E-S, and that's the way we learned it. But I mean, I already know it. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, but I mean, if you write it like that, the thing that I'm telling you is if you want to keep it conflict-free, add that asterisk. I'm telling you, it's going to help you a ton. And the one that you write the most is the one that you want without the asterisk. Because I've tried to shorten a lot of my writing. So what I do is doing, D-O-G. Well, that's dog. Well, guess what? In 20-something years of writing, I've probably written dog maybe 40 times. Maybe. Okay? I mean, and I'm not saying you're not going to hear it. I'm not saying that. You know, you may take a deposition of a dog bite, you know, where they're suing the guy who dog bit somebody else, and you're going to hear it a lot. But I don't hear dog that much. So I just do D-O-G with the asterisk. Okay? Because I hear doing every day. Every day you're going to hear probably doing. Okay? But I mean, that's just food for thought. Okay? Any questions about this little thing though? About putting entries in, blah, blah, blah? Nope.
There goes the term in dictionary.
That goes into, well, it's going to give you the option, okay? And it's going to come up with that long thing where you put it in. You're going to have the option to put it in your main, or if, but I mean, if you're working in your dictionary, then you're going to want it in your main. If this is stuff that you're going to want in your main, unless you're building a dictionary, okay? If you're building a dictionary, then that's like a job dictionary, okay? Make sense?
Computer keyboard. Automagic adds great shortcuts to find entries. Pressing 1 here would filter the display to show just...
See, and you can go in and do a lot of things in your dictionary. You can go in and modify a lot of things. So you go in and say you want to modify. Now it gives you another list of stuff that say you just want to modify words that are capitalized. It'll give you every word in your dictionary that's capitalized. Or if you just want to do numbers, anything that has to do with numbers, dates, highways, times, any of that stuff, and it just, so you don't have to scroll through your whole dictionary trying to find, you know, something, and, you know, see that, and that's a very small dictionary of, you know, 4,600 words. I mean, mine is probably 90-something thousand words. Probably bigger, maybe bigger than that. But anyway, so, I mean, you know, you can do prefixes, suffixes, phrases, conflicts, anything that you want when you go in there and modify it. So once you go in, then it's going to ask you, well, what do you want to do? You know what? I want to do all of my prefix and suffix. You press 4, and it gives you all your entries for prefixes and suffixes. Okay? So it just helps you modify what you're going to do. So you don't have to go through the whole dictionary and waste time.
Capitalized entries. And now press 1 again to unfilter the display. Globaling is a good example. With Global Magic, Eclipse users can simply mark notes and then pick a choice off a list.
So what it's telling you right here is you can go through and mark it, and that's with the M in hyperkeys. M, 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 M. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now it's 4. Now it's giving you the option of, well, did you mean arthroscopic or urethroskopic? Which one do you want? And if it's not that, then you type in whatever you want, okay? So after you do that one time, now over here, now it's going to start giving you the option. Did you mean arthroscopic? And say you did AR, throw, scop, and now it's EBG instead of EIBG, instead of IBG, okay, instead of IK. So you messed up a little bit. Well, they're already thinking ahead. Well, the last time you stroked this, pretty close, you put arthroscopic. So it's showing you right here. It's number 3, it's arthroscopic, and it's 4 strokes. The little 4 in parentheses right here means it is 4 strokes. Okay? Does that make sense?
You can still use the very efficient globaling dialog, but it's even easier to pick choices from the Auto Magic list. To make this 4-stroke stenoglobal, all I have to do is press 3.
See? So now when you do it, and you left maybe the G off or the B or whatever, no big deal. It's still giving you that option. You press number 3. It does that whole word right there, and it takes these words out. It's already guessing what you wanted to do. Okay? Well, maybe you stroked it wrong and it was something totally different, and it was what you wanted it to be. You stroked it correct and it's a totally different word. No big deal. You mark it again, put it in there, now it knows. Okay? But if not, then you just press number 3, and you can do it anywhere in there usually. Anywhere in that word. It'll usually read behind it and in front of it too. Okay?
By pushing that number 3, you're not creating a dictionary entry, are you?
It already created that dictionary entry when you did it the first time. Yeah.
Now it's just like a suggestion.
Yeah, now it's just a suggestion. Is that what you wanted? Yes, it is. Then press number 3 and be done with it. Hurry up. So it's just trying to move you along, okay?
Now press a number if I want this global to go into a dictionary or affect the rest of the document. Otherwise, just keep moving the cursor. So global replacements typically take only 1 or 2 steps.
So you see right here, I mean, you'll stroke stuff and it may already, as compared to your writing, it's already going to start thinking ahead. Well, did you mean garage? Did you mean good right here and you stroked it wrong? Did you mean gave and you stroked it wrong or whatever? See how it doesn't have any numbers in parentheses? So it's just telling you that first entry right there. But it's reading ahead saying, well, did you mean garage? Because if you did, then we're seeing it with the 2 entries. You paying attention? Got it? Okay. So that's what it's telling you right there. So it's always giving you suggestions. Okay? And instead of going through and marking it and blah, 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 all you have to do is press number 3. It puts garage in there. Okay? But if garage isn't in your dictionary, then you're going to have to highlight it. Mark it, which highlights it, put it in your main dictionary. Okay? This is just a suggestion. So now once you start doing it, it's going to start seeing how you write, that you did it like this 2 or 3 times, now it's gonna start doing it on its own, okay, with the artificial intelligence. All right?
And no typing. Automagic understands paragraphing. Again, just press a number to do with one step what might take multiple steps on another program.
You see what it's doing there? And we'll get into some of this stuff later. It's just kind of giving you suggestions.
Otherwise, just keep moving the cursor. So global replacements typically take only 1 or 2 steps and no typing. Automagic understands.
What's that?
That, I don't know if you can go back, I guess that was globally, I don't know what he pressed that brought up that little box that says where do you want it and what dictionary.
Well, I mean, and sometimes it'll give you that, but most of the time it's going to be in the thing where you're putting the entry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? But, you know, say you're here and it was supposed to be an answer. This was supposed to be an answer, not in colloquy, which this is really considered a speaker. It's a speaker line. And that's what they're going to call it, a speaker line. So you don't want a speaker line, you wanted an answer, you press number 7, it puts it over here, answer. You all know how to do the question answers just on the speed keys?
Just question answer.
Huh?
Like a question answer banks?
Yeah. What?
Like, you asked us if we know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How?
Oh, all of them, right?
No. On in
F3,
Eclipse.
Oh.
Huh?
F3,
F3,
question.
F3 and F4. F3 is the question, F4 is the answer. Okay? So that's a speed one. So you can put it right here, just do F4 if you wanted the answer. Boom, you're done. Or you can look over here and say, I want the answer. Just press number 7. You know, you already know it, so I mean, you know, you can kind of come over here and look, press 7 or whatever. If you already know what you're going to do, then you just go in there and but the thing about doing it with the F2, the F3 and the F4, if you're right here and you push F3, it's going to bring it down. Now it's going to make the speaker line a byline. So now you're going to have by Mr. Smith with the question right there. So if that's what you wanted, then that's what it's going to do. Does that make sense? Are you sure?
Well, given I don't know how to make a byline, so I don't know.
Huh?
I mean, would it give you the option?
Do you have a body? Do you have a Q&A that you have? Pull up a Q&A. I know, or any Q&A that you have. And I'm going to show you how to do it. I don't know if it's going to let me. I've got it on this thing, so it's not going to allow me to do it. Okay, you're in one? Okay, so you're right here. Put your cursor right here at the end, yeah. Now we're going to do F2. Instead of F2. Now that gives you your speakers. So put in there Mr. Miller. It should be in all caps, but that's his speaker. Press enter. Okay, see, that's a byline. See, so now it sets it up by Mr. Miller, question, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Wow, okay.
And if you want to take it out, just do Control Y. That'll take it out. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Do you know how to do that?
Yes.
Byline?
Yes.
Okay.
understands paragraphing. Again, just press a number to do with one step what might take multiple steps on another program.
And this is your byline right here, okay? It's gonna put the byline, by Mr. Smith, question, blah, blah, blah. So Mr. Smith is the one asking the question. So that's what it's saying right here, byline, okay? And that's what it means. By whoever, and then question answer, okay?
Automagic also watches out for word reversals or incorrectly applied suffixes.
And that's what we were talking about early on the word reversals, the shift R. Shift R just toggles it. Is she is she is, blah, 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 okay? And then also you can change your prefixes and suffixes right here too. I'm gonna show you a way easier way to do it, to change your prefixes and suffixes, so you're not gonna have to worry about this too much. But if you forget it, that's what it is. Hyperkeys W is prefix and suffixes. So somewhere in the body of that tutorial, get in there and press, make sure you're in hyperkeys. How do you get in hyperkeys? Alt Z. Make sure you're in hyperkeys. Get somewhere in that body and press W. See how it gives you all of the prefixes and suffixes? So say you want to change that to used. What would it be? You just push D. See how it changed it?
Okay.
Pretty cool. Go back. Change it. Didn't it?
It's kind of back to us, it deleted
What was that supposed to be?
use,
Used?
without use.
I wanted to change it.
Then change it to, that was it.
Okay, sorry. Did you get it?
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Let's see right there. You want ones. Push S.
Question.
So then push. See, push it back. Okay.
I don't know if there's any push past, but that last key spell that counts and is that like it's going to be a period or is that like a question?
Where's that?
The last key. Spell.
Spell that tense. No, that's not a question.
Okay.
No. Yes. So I mean, you can do any of that stuff. So you go to there, W, and you can kind of go through there. You can kind of scroll down to G. Is that a G?
No, G, got it. That's it.
Then you just push C. Takes it off.
What's that?
Okay.
Alt W.
Oh, that was W in hyperkeys. So that's W in hyperkeys, guys. In hyperkeys is prefixes and suffixes. Okay? Go through there. Whenever you have a chance, just go through there. We don't have to do it right now, but go through there and you can see all of the prefixes and suffixes. You can change them, modify them to whatever you want. So if it's something that you don't want, then you can change it. I wouldn't suggest changing it a whole lot, because what they do,
This paragraphing. Again, just press a number to do with one step what might take multiple steps on another program.
because what they want you to do is you know, when you push the W for the prefixes and suffixes, they have the prefixes pretty close to what it's supposed to be or what you want to do. So like if it's ED, it's D. If it's S or ES or IES, it's S. And you don't have to worry about, say it was property and you wanted it to be properties. All you do is put it on property, push W, push S, and it already knows what to do. It takes off the Y and adds the IES. You don't have to worry about anything else. It already knows what to do. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, is that ES or just S, or it already does it, okay? It's pretty cool, all right?
It's spelling pretty.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And if it comes up, and I helped one of the students just a while ago, and she had cast, C-A-S-T, and it's like, well, is there a casted? Well, try it. Push D, and push D, and it came up, casted, and it is a word. If it's not a word, then it's going to come up with a red line underneath the word, like this. See this little red line? It's going to come up like that and tell you that's not proper spelling. What you guys like?
No, because I tried that with political and made it ability.
Politicability?
Yeah. I was just trying to see what it would do.
Would it do it?
Nope, it's the red line.
Yeah. And if it's a wrong word, it's going to tell you. But I'm going to tell you, people don't always talk correctly. And just like she was saying, she tried to put ability with political, and it came up politicability, but it came up with the red line that it's wrong. Well, maybe somebody said that. Maybe somebody actually said that. Well, you know what? It's all about the politicability of that. It's not even a word. Well, they said it. You have to put it. You're not there to clean them up. You're just there to put what they said, okay? So sometimes people don't always speak correctly, but you have to put what they say.
Automagic also watches out for word reversals, or incorrectly applied suffixes, or missing punctuation, and compound word problems. Naturally, it alerts you to spelling problems as you're making them. It also helps. Here's an overview of how automatic 4-stroke stenoglobal suffixes, or missing punctuation, and compound word.
See, so you can do like missing punctuation, which is no big deal, because when you're in hyperkeys, you always have to be in front of the word that you want it to be. Okay, so like say you want a comma right here after farm, put your cursor right there. All you have to do is push comma. Do it right now. Push comma. And it puts a comma there. So it's always going to put the comma behind, okay? So if you need it in front, then you need to put it in the word in front of where you need it, okay? Same thing with the period. Same thing with the question mark. And you can try it that way. And it does the same thing. So if you want a period there, question mark, whatever. All right? Semicolon, colon, whatever.
Problems. Naturally, it'll.
So it's always thinking ahead, like I was telling you, and here is an example.
And compound.
So, you know, if you have it, she was outstanding in the field. Well, she wasn't terrific out in the field. She was just outstanding. Just standing out there in the field. She wasn't outstanding. So it just gives you the option of, well, is it one word, two word, the one word, two word? No, it's two words. And you push number one. Instead of coming over here, then space, 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 and then space bar. Guys, really? Okay? So it's just kind of thinking ahead, trying to get things moving faster.
Word problems. Naturally, it alerts you to.
And it alerts you when words are misspelled. It has the red line underneath. It's telling you field. Well, that's the way you stroked it. They forgot the U over here. So it kind of put it up there. Because maybe it's in your dictionary as field. I don't know why it would have put it in there. I mean, if it wasn't in your dictionary, but let's just say that it did, and it put field. Well, it's going to say, you know what? It was strong. I mean, it was wrong. And this is the right way that this should be the right word. But maybe, you know, like we were talking, you know, a little bit ago, that, I mean, people don't always speak correctly. Well, that's the way he fielded. That's the way he fielded. You know, and people say it all the time. People can murder the English language, okay? They can really slaughter it sometimes. So your job isn't to clean them up. Your job is to put down what they said, okay? But if they really said field and meant field, and you just kind of stroked it wrong, no big deal. You push number 9, it corrects it.
Spelling problems as you're making them. It also helps with number formatting and hyphenation, without requiring that your cursor.
Did you see the hyphenation? And we kind of went over that a little bit earlier before class, you know, on the hyphenation stuff. So, go back just a minute.
Formatting and
hyphenation. So it's the shift little dill.
But you have to mark it first?
No, try it. Do the shift. I mark it
So you have to put it on the word
before.
after.
Is it the word after?
I believe so, because I try to, so I have you can. So I tried here, and it doesn't hyphenate.
Okay.
So I put it on can, and then I did it, and then it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it has to be the word here. Okay, so if it's 3-car garage and you want it hyphenated, put it on this word here, and then push the shift dash. Shift dash, and it makes it a hyphenated word. So it's going to make it this. Or it may just give it to you as an option. You just press number 1.
Hyphenation without requiring that your cursor be at the very start of a number.
See, and it's always thinking ahead too. You know, say you wrote 2 TWO30 and you meant 230 as in time. Well, you know what? It's going to give you the option. Did you mean 230? $230? 2-30 as in a date, or 2:30 p.m. like a clock. So it gives you that option. It doesn't matter how you write that number. It's always thinking ahead.
AutoMagic is not just one feature, it's a synthesis of years of innovation, including global magic and translation magic. Total Eclipse. Brilliantly simple, simply brilliant.
And it really is, guys. That thing is brilliant. I mean, and the more you use it, the more it starts knowing how you're going to write, okay? So it starts guessing for you. So, I mean, the more you start doing it, the more, I mean, you don't even have to think about it. It's thinking for you. Okay, now we're going to talk about hyperkeys. Very important lesson right here, okay? So pay attention.
The fastest way to edit with Eclipse is to use AutoMagic and hyperkeys. You'll be able to bypass menus, and you won't have to remember whether something begins with Control or Alt. AutoMagic and hyperkeys work beautifully together. Many times you'll be able to pick the choice you need from. You won't have to remember whether something begins with Control or Alt. AutoMagic and hyperkeys work beautifully together. Many times you'll be able to pick the choice you need from a numbered list. But sometimes there may not be enough room on the list for the choice that you would need. Wherever possible, AutoMagic.
This list right here, very important, okay? And I think I may have some copies still. And if I don't, then I'll try to remember to bring them next week. I may have taken them out of my bag. But what it is it's a list. It's just a piece of paper with a list of all of these things. And this is all the commands that hyperkeys does, okay? And they're gonna kind of go over it a little more in depth, but you can do a lot of stuff. So, you know, if you're on the home keys, moving up and down, do y'all know how to move up and down in hyperkeys? Slick? No? I is up, K is down, J and L is right and left. So it's right here. It's these 3 fingers right here. That's all it is. And you can move up and down, right and left. So try it right now in hyperkeys. Go up. Up is what? Down. Right.
L.
Huh? What?
L.
Hey, what are you yelling? And left. J. These are the ones you're going to use the absolute most. Okay, so you're going to be moving around in the document up and down, blah, blah, blah. I, K, J, L. Those are the ones that you need to remember the most. And mess around with that a lot. Okay? So whenever you're practicing or whatever, and you're writing on the machine, you're writing real time, and you're just like, oh, you know what, I want to stop. You know what, I'm going to practice my movements just real quick before I go eat. Get into the document and just move around. You know what, I want to go up, down, right, left, and it just moves over. Right, left, it just goes over one word, okay? So it's one whole word. Now if you want to move over one character, now it's, I think it's Control. Try Control, L, and J.
Like you're doing uppercase, J, K, L, I.
And you know what it is? I think it is. It's
The-
shift.
just the
Try the
letter-
shift.
The shift with the J and the L is to move one character over.
One character over.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. It's a shift. It's not control. My bad, guys. So it's a shift J, shift L for one character. If not, then just a J and L moves one word.
Would like to also show you the hyperkeys. These allow you to keep your fingers on the typing keyboard. For instance, the cursor keys are right at your fingertips. No need to move your hand, just to move your cursor through the document. Commands are designed to be easy to remember, like D for delete, F for find.
And that's what they try to do, okay? They try to make it as easy as possible, okay? So when you want to delete, it's D. F, find. M, mark. N, insert text, okay? And these are some, and capitalize. So if you're in hyperkeys right now, just push A. See what it does? It kind of toggles your capitalization. So if you need to capitalize, it's A. Shave the previous word is S. So if you want to, you know, get on a word and then push S, and it should shave the last word,
That last letter.
the last letter of the last word. Okay, and then if you know, push Z. Z is the oops. Okay, this one is going to absolutely become your friend, your BFF. All right, because when you when you do something wrong, all you do is Z. And if it doesn't go back, then just keep pushing Z, and it'll finally go back to where it was in the beginning, okay? Now you can't delete a word, then type in a word, and then go Z, and you know, because it may not do it, okay? Or go back into the body and start moving. It's like, oh man, I need to go back. Sometimes it won't do it, okay? So you need to do it like right then. You realize you made the mistake. Oh my God, I deleted a line. Well, delete a line is Control Y. Control Y. Try it. Did it? Now push Z. Put it back. Now push Z. Put it back. Huh?
It didn't put mine back. I deleted number 2. I deleted the line 2, and then this one I put it back.
What line?
It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I deleted 2, and I did Control Y, and then yeah, but it deleted number 2.
No big deal.
It'll
You
be
can do
private.
it. No, you can do it now, or whenever you get back out, go back in, go to help, install lessons again, and install all the lessons that are put back in. So that's what I'm saying, guys. We had one where I don't know what she did.
I hate
She messed it
Control.
up. I'm just kidding. I don't know what she did, but don't freak out, okay? When you see something and you want to do it, stop the player, minimize the player, like it's playing right now. You can minimize the player. It kind of takes you back into the thing and say, you know what? I kind of want to mess with this thing a little bit, okay? So, you know, I'm in hyperkeys right here. I want to do Control Y. That takes the whole line out. It deletes a whole line. Well, you know what? I didn't mean to do that. You push Z, it puts it back. Z is the oops. But you can't always do another command sometimes before, you know, you want to put it back, because then it won't. But don't freak out if you go and you know, you delete this whole line and now you can't get it back. Don't freak out, okay? Exit out of the thing. Exit out. Go to help. Install lessons again. Put your cursor here, highlight it, push shift down. Do all of them again. Do all of them again. Push enter, and all it does is restart your whole lesson again. So, you know, if it did it, don't freak out. You can always put the lessons back in there. And that's why I tell you, mess around in those lessons a little bit, because you're not going to mess it up, okay? You can always reinstall the lesson, all right? So if you see something in here and it's like, oh man, you know, I want to mess around with that a little bit, mess around in the body of that thing, and if you can't get it to come back or go back to the way that it was, then you just install the lesson player again, okay? Did you do it?
Yeah, it's back up.
Okay.
It's there now.
Okay. Now delete it again.
Okay, so,
Control Y. And Z. You still didn't do it?
no, but I don't know if it has to do because it's, I don't know why it would do it. It won't do it. It won't do it.
Well, I just did it on the other line.
It does it on a regular line, but I put it on the number 2, like the beginning of the line, and I hit Control Y, and it took off the whole line, the whole sentence of number 2.
Yeah.
And then when I hit Z, nothing.
Are you still in hypertext?
Yeah. When I deleted this, 3 was up here.
Yeah, it
and so then when
shouldn't
I hit,
matter.
yeah, and then when I hit Z, it just made that space like
Yeah.
that.
It shouldn't matter, and I don't know why it's doing it, and it could just be on hers. I don't know. I mean, why it's doing it, but it's not. But it's not bringing it back. But I mean, don't freak out. All you have to do is just read the lesson player back in. Okay?
G for global. No need to press another key first. If you press Shift with a key, as you would for a capital letter, it can have a totally different, often related meaning.
You hear what it's saying right there? If you push Shift with that same letter in hyperkeys, it's going to have a totally different command. So the command that you want to do, it's going to do it with the letter that you see the most. Now when you do Shift D, now instead of deleting the word, it deletes a character. So go somewhere in the body of your thing and do Shift D in hyperkeys. See how it deleted a character? Push Z. Put it back. Yeah. So you have to be careful, okay? Now, the chances of you deleting a character, you're gonna do it. And you're gonna need to do it, but you're gonna delete a word more than you're gonna delete a character. So what they do is they want you to keep your hands on the home keys where you can mess around. Now every now and then you're gonna have to do something that's not always what you do, and it's kind of more of the abnormal, and then they put it with the shift whatever. And it is still important stuff, okay? So now get on a word and do Shift A. Makes it all caps. And that's what it does right here. So when more than likely, the times that you're gonna do it is A. You're just gonna need to capitalize the first letter. But say they say, you know what, that was sack. Okay, well, it came up SAC, maybe it came up SAC, or maybe it came up SACK. Okay, well you go in there, global it, blah, blah, blah. But say it comes up just SAC, but it's an acronym for something. It's an acronym for, you know, whatever. And you need all the letters capped, then that's all you do. Shift A, and it capitalizes all of them. Make sense? You push Z, takes it back. Guys, totally mess around with that, okay? All of these things in here, we're gonna go through them a little bit on the ones. I mean, you can even change it. If you have a number in there, put it on a number. And I don't know if it'll do it like the number 3 like you had it, but if there's a number in the body, you know what we can do?
Put on my computer to make it block.
That too. Just get somewhere in the body. Like right there. And push. In. 11. And come here. And then do Shift in. Get into hyperkeys. What's hyperkeys? Now do Shift M. See how it made it in the money? See? Okay, what I did with one of the students was I had her go into the body, She was in hyperkey, so I told her to press in, which is insert, press 11 or a number, any numbers, go back to that number, get back into hyperkeys, which is Alt-Z, and press Shift-M. And it changes it to money. Pretty cool. Way cool. But a lot of times you're not going to have to worry about that, because most of the time when there is a number in the body of the job, most of the time Automagic's going to put it in there as one of the selections as money. Money, time, Roman numerals, just the number, blah, 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 whatever. Okay?
So if we just write a normal number, we can just turn it into a Roman numeral?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, where is it? There's an option here.
N, capital N, convert to numbers, numerals, convert to numerals. All cap.
Yeah, but there's one for Roman numerals, I think.
Oh.
I don't use it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a way to do it. But it's not going to matter, because when you have your numbers, it's always going to give you that option, okay? So it's not usually going to matter.
Would it give you the
Gives you a-
option? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Gives you a Roman numeral option?
Huh?
The Automagic, would it give you the option?
Most of the time it does. Most of the time it does. Sometimes it may not. I'll have to find it. But there is a way to change it to Roman numerals. And we'll go through it because it's in one of the lessons. It shows you how to do it. I just don't use it. You're not going to hardly ever use it. But, I mean, say they say John Anthony III, and you write THIRD. No big deal. You put it on third. Most of the time, Automagic's going to give you that option of 111. Okay? But if it doesn't, then there's a way to change it. Okay?
Is that the right way to write it though, with the Roman numeral? Or could we
The
make
third?
a transcript with third?
It's supposed to be Roman numeral. Yeah, the third. Any questions? Guys, go in here and print that sheet. Print this sheet right here. So I don't know if you can print to the printer here, if y'all are hooked up to the printer here, but if you can, print that sheet. I may have some copies. I may have some copies of some of the sheets. What's really cool, and what one of the other students did, was she printed it twice. Put them back together, put them back to back, to where you can see it on both sides, and then laminated it. Really cool. And it's something that you have all the time, so when you're editing, you can go through and kind of do this as a little cheat sheet, okay? So whichever side you turn it on, you're still looking at, either way, you're still looking at the table, okay? Just a suggestion, but she laminated hers.
So how do you turn hyperkeys on or off? Of course, you can use the mouse to click on the icon of the toolbar, but you can also select from the edit menu or avoid the menus entirely by using the speed key Alt-Z.
If you do that, and I find out, you're gonna get whacked with the stick, okay? It's just a way long way to do it, guys. And you can do it, you can go into edit, hyper keys, press that every time, seriously. Alt-Z, Alt-Z, okay?
When hyperkeys are on, the toolbar icon will look pushed in, and you'll notice an HYP on the status bar at the bottom of the screen.
Y'all see that? When your hyper keys is on, and your cursor right here is thick, okay?
The cursor will look bigger, indicating you're not yet ready to type. And if you have Automagic displaying keyboard shortcuts, then you will see the hyper key indicated. But when...
You see what it's telling you right there? When you have commands over here, it's going to give you the hyper key commands, okay? So it's not going to be the shift, whatever, And sometimes it will be, I mean, because that's the command for whatever it is. But it's going to give you the shortcut in hyperkeys of what that command is now. In hyperkeys. When you're in hyperkeys. So now it's in insert mode, it's totally different. The thing is small, hyperkeys in pressed in, now they're giving you totally different things. And that's what he's telling you right here. Let me back it up a little bit.
And if you have Automagic displaying keyboard shortcuts, then you will see the hyperkey indicated. But when hyperkeys are off, you would see the regular speed key, and the cursor would be a narrow typing cursor.
You see what it says? Narrow. Now you have speed keys, and it says insert. So you'll know the indicators. It's not pressed in, small, speed keys, insert. Okay? All right? Right here. Control N, F8, Alt G. Now it's not just G. Now it's not just T, J. When you're in hyperkeys, that's what it's going to give you for your commands. Okay? Because they want you, all your commands are right here. Most of your commands are right here. Does that make sense? Okay? So when you're in hyperkeys, it's going to be totally different. All right?
When hyperkeys are on, Eclipse expects that when you press a letter, it's to give a command rather than to type. If you
That's exactly right, guys. When you're in hyperkeys, now you're in command mode, not insert mode. So now it's not typing. You're not typing anymore. You're commanding the software to do something. These are commands, okay? And you're gonna mess around with that a little bit, I mean, because every now and then I'll still do it, every now and then. You know, but I've been doing it a while with the hyperkeys, so it doesn't happen as often. But I mean, sometimes you're editing so fast and you just, oh man, and it like takes you to the end of the page. Don't freak out. You push Z, takes you right back to where you were, okay? And say you push 3 letters and it did 3 commands. Don't freak out. Press Z, 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 and it'll boom, 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 take you back, okay?
forget this, and you press a letter to type and inadvertently lose your place, and perhaps land in a dialogue simply...
And that's what it's saying right here. You're gonna move into a dialogue. You have no idea where you're at. Holy cow, how did I get here? Now you're in a fill in the blank mode. Don't freak out. All you do is press Z, takes you back.
Press the escape key, and then use the movement oops command to go back to the last edit point. That's either Shift-Alt-L or hyperkey capital Z. So how...
That's if you're not in hyperkeys, okay? If you're in hyperkeys, all you do is press Z, takes you back. Okay? So don't freak out. And if it brings you down here and you're at the end of the page, well, now you're in insert mode, blah, blah, don't freak out. Get back into hyperkeys, which is press Z, takes you back. Okay? I'm going to keep asking these questions, so.
How do you temporarily turn off hyperkeys in order to type text? Here you see it as a choice on the Automagic list, but you also see that it's in when hyperkeys are on.
So it's in. In. So are you in hyperkeys right now? Okay. Press in.
And then you can type.
And now you can type. See how it should have gotten the smaller cursor? Got small. Now it's in insert mode. Hyperkey is depressed. See that? Yes. No.
Hyperkey press.
That.
Oh.
Looks like it's
So when hyperkeys is on, push Alt Z. Now look at the hyperkey icon. See how it's depressed or pressed? Now push in. Did you do it? Huh? What does it look like?
Not press.
Depressed. Excellent.
When you're finished, just press Enter. That turns hyperkeys on again. And if you want to simply type over a word, again, press hyperkey N, type your new word, And then do not space over, but press the Enter key once to turn hyperkeys on, and one more time to chop off the word that you typed over.
Super cool right there, guys. Were you paying attention? Of course not. I'm going to rewind it. Listen to this.
Press Enter. That turns hyperkeys on again. And if you want to simply type over a word, again, press hyperkey N, type your new word, and then do not space over, but press the Enter key once to turn hyperkeys on, and one more time to chop off the word that you typed over.
You see what it's saying right there? Do it right now. Get on a word. N. First. Enter. Enter. Now press Z. Z. Pretty cool. You got it, Flip? Okay. Press N. First. F-I-R-S-T. F, yeah. Press Enter. Press C. Go down. Go down to the, go down to half. Enter. I mean N. First.
See, this is what
What's
we're
the type of it?
How do I do that?
Do Control Shift M.
Like, say if I was the same thing here, and if I go write it, then I have to rewrite the whole word.
Do Control. You know what? Do Insert. Insert. Okay.
Control?
Do that. Now, I go back and try to do about. Here. So it's just insert.
Do I need to make sure this is always split? Or it's
Make sure that INS is always there. So do INS again. See how it goes into over? See, it types over. How you want to insert? Okay, now put it on top. In hyperkeys. In, first, enter, enter. Now Z, Z. See?
Do those last two Z's do? Redo everything?
The Z puts it back to first talked, and then puts it back. So it always goes back from the last command that you did to the next command that you did. You see what I'm saying?
Does it have a number of times you can go back, or just keep going back through?
I'm going to turn off for just a second, guys.